Nigeria's 36 state governors to comply fully with a recent Supreme Court judgment on local government financial autonomy, insisting that statutory funds must be released directly to councils without interference. And let's listen to Mr. President.
That you have your elections at the local government level. You are the supervisors, the vigilators, the INEC, and everything of the local government. You elected them. Nobody help you, the governors. So since you elected them, it means you know them. You are responsible for their survival. But the Supreme Court has capped it for you again, saying give them their money directly. So if you wait for my executive order, because I have the knife, I have the yam. I will cut it before FAC.
Stand warning, you may call that, but that's Mr. President underscoring the supremacy of the Constitution and the finality of judicial decisions. What you saw there is the President warning that failure to implement the judgment could prompt executive actions to enforce compliance. So that's a conversation tonight, and my guest tonight is Paul Ikonne, APC chieftain, Abia State, former Executive Secretary, CEO of the National Agricultural Land Development Authority, NALDA. Mr. Ikonne, thank you very much for joining us, and welcome to Politics Tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Compliments of the season to you.
Thank you for having me.
Right, so the President said you elected them, it means you know them. So if you know them, why is it hard to look out for their progress? The Supreme Court has ruled, yes, yet you still see these governors who are not willing to obey that ruling. And the President is now threatening enforcement through executive order. Does this suggest that governors only respect the law when forced?
Thank you for that question, and once again, thank you for having me. If you see the President's reaction, you could see the fatherly disposition. Somebody who is worried, who knows that the governance, good governance is not getting down to the grassroots, and that is the essence of being in power. Some governors are not willing at all to implement, to obey, and to drive dividends of democracy to the grassroots, while some governors are doing everything within their reach to work within the ambits of the law and make sure that development starts from bottom up. It's unfortunate that some states are not, they are not focused. Most of the governors did not come to the office with intentions to work to develop their state and impact on the people and alleviate the sufferings of the people. So, to answer your question from another point of view, when it suits some, they want to go with the law. When it doesn't suit them, they want to look for loopholes. Some of them, like in Abia State, for example, they're trying to use state laws. The governor of Abia State is trying to amend and find a way to create new laws that will empower him to continue using the continue using the local government funds at will, at his pleasure.
That's an allegation. That's a serious allegation you just made.
Because that is my state. Because for you to look at this issue of local government autonomy, we must have a case study that is verifiable, and you can be able to understand why it's very important, the point the President is trying to make, why it's important that local governments have the autonomy to use their funds, even as the Supreme Court have ruled.
So one thing that struck me with what the President says, again, is you elected them because you know them. Does this not also suggest that perhaps the fundamentals, the foundations of our local government elections is faulty and may need a total rejig?
Yeah, we have all the laws. Now, so when people are elected under any platform, and because there is a governor in that state that is the leader of the party in that state, so definitely we would have known those that are coming to vote for local government election. And
is it compulsory that he knows them?
Sometimes, because definitely you must, one way or the other, if they are members of your party, you would have gone through their CV. Somebody would have said, yes, during the campaign, they would have made known their manifesto, their intentions, what they want to do. So from their manifesto and their presentations, you should be able to say, okay, this person has good intention, I will support him. So now...
And you don't see how that may have contributed to why we're here today?
I don't think that knowing those that come on board as local government chairmen are issues, but the main issue here is what is the mindset?
Or how they get there.
Okay, and how also they get there. There are some states that their local government are doing projects that get their funds. They are implementing projects. Here in Lagos State, you see local government building health centers, building schools. They are also council-elected chairmen and councillors. So the issue of knowing them may not be the issue, may not be the problem, but the governor who should know that local government is another tier of government that is closer to the people, closer to the farmers, closer to the less privileged, closer to the widows, closer to the disabled people. So it's a government arm, is an arm of government that ought not to be played with. So that's why you can see how passionate Mr. President is in trying to drive the point that governors should let local government handle their funds and implement projects that will impact positively the lives of people.
And you know, it was really great and interesting to see Mr. President address that issue, because it was looking like the president was not prepared to confront these powerful governors who are also key political allies. But again, there are some questions that have been asked since Friday. Is the president truly willing to sanction governors from his own party, or is this just another political talk?
Looking at Mr. President and his presentation, and at the point of saying this, it was during APC meeting.
Yes.
That tells you his passion. There's no other way to demonstrate sincerity of seeing that the third tier of government is functional than on that platform. So anybody playing politics with that statement is being misleading. If the president doesn't speak to his party members, the governors that are within his party, who will he speak to?
How well does this expose a deeper crisis of, constitutional obedience among governors? It's really a challenge.
A lot of things a lot of laws that we have need to be implemented. Yeah, the governors they have all the powers. They are subnationals, as much as the local government also should also have some powers. But now, how can you now get these governors, most of them, not all of them, if you agree with me, to be able to work within the ambits of the law? It takes a president like the president.
So can you name about 3 APC governors who have obeyed this ruling?
If you go to Imo State,
okay,
the governor of Imo State is no longer thinking of commissioning 1 kilometer road or street. He's doing gas turbine and heavy project bridges. Meanwhile, the local government chairmen are implementing projects. Look at Enugu State, for example. The Enugu State local government, they are building schools, building hospitals. Lagos State, as an example, also. The Lagos State local government council chairmen are also implementing projects. But there are states that, where I come from, Abia State, we must have to look at it from both sides to understand the weight of not allowing local government to have the autonomy. Abia local government, 17 local government, receives an average of 7 to 8 billion naira every month. Now, people are crying that there are hardship out there as a result of subsidy removal, but the president makes sure that that money goes back to the local government, meaning that would have cushioned the effect if these funds are properly utilized, if facilities are provided in the state at the local government level, if infrastructures are in place, hospitals, schools are put in place by the local government authorities, but they don't see their funds. My local government, for example, receives an average of 400 to 500 million every month, but the local government chairman gets 8 million from the government.
I mean, I understand why you're talking about Abia State.
Yes.
This is because you're from there.
Yes.
But I mean, any other person listening would say this is a political talk, rather. I mean, you belong to the APC, the governor there belongs to the Labour Party. So, I mean, it's your word. Yeah, because
it's a textbook example. The evidence are very glaring.
I mean, you don't have them here tonight.
But I'm challenging them to come here and then make proof and say these are the things we have done within the period that we are in power. There's some things you don't play politics with. One would have imagined that being what is the name of the party again? Labour Party, that they would have used it as example to show what they would do. But unfortunately, if you get to Abia, you find out why Abians, Nigerians in general, will not let anything Labour come up again, because the party in power in Abia have ruined the local government system in the area, in the sense that you cannot lay hands on any single project executed by the local government authority.
All right, Mr. Ikonne. Governor Alex Otti is just one governor from the Labour Party.
Yes.
Most governors accused of hijacking local government funds belong to the APC. As your party failed its own reform promises.
Now, you asked me to give you 3 examples of APC governors that you can verify that that the local government...
Yes, you gave me 3 out of 28.
Good.
Your
Based on your
party
request.
now has 28 state
Good.
governors.
And you know, in every research, you must start from a point to expand. And you must start from where you have authority, you have good insight. The president came to a program where you have APC governors. What does that tell you? It tells you that the president is passionate, he's looking at the entire Nigeria and want everybody to get on board to make sure that local government system is functional. Because
but if they align, I do apologize, Mr. Ikonne, if these governors align with the renewed hope agenda of the president, does he need to remind them of why the local government needs to be financially enabled?
Okay, that's a good question. You know, when you don't show leadership, people relax. That's why you watch TV. That's why Coca-Cola, some products keep advertising, because you keep talking. Scripture says faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. So the president have reminded them again. Now let's watch and see what the APC governors, those that have not keyed into allowing the local government to be autonomous and use their funds to develop their various local government will do. But I'm very optimistic that none of them will disobey the president. I'm very convinced that for those APC governors, which I'm not able to lay hands on any, because I have not made that research to see the governor in APC that is not keen into that. But for the president to have said that within the circle of APC meeting means, as a president, he sees everything. He knows those that are misbehaving. They should be able, and I believe things will change for good based on that instruction.
All right. Hopefully, that's what I can say from here. But does this threat risk creating tensions between federal and state governments, even within APC-controlled states? Are you bothered about that?
No, I'm not bothered at all, because for the president to come out to speak out tells you that he's worried. He wants the people, he wants development to get to the grassroots. You can't develop any nation without development coming from bottom up. So what it means is that he's challenging them. He wants to prove to Nigerians, to the world, that APC as a party, his administration means well for the people. So I am not bothered that it will create issue, in the sense that that shows you leadership. That shows you leadership.
But there are those who are seeing this as federal government overstepping its constitutional boundaries.
Well, if you listen to the president again, you will hear him say, we have to obey the Supreme Court. So at what point
and he needs to constantly remind them of why they must obey the Supreme Court.
Yes,
that's a problem.
But that is why he's the leader, and he's showing that leadership by not keeping quiet. Some leaders will have also kept quiet. Some will say, we are nearing electioneering year, let me keep quiet. But he's not much bothered about the 2027 election. He's bothered about the welfare of Nigerians. Driving democracy. Let democracy get to the grassroots. Remember, there was a time he said they should water the grass. So his emphasis has always been the grassroots, empowering the people, alleviating the poverty, the sufferings, creating infrastructure, working with the farmers so that we can have sufficient food.
All right. And you know, oftentimes, I mean, to be fair on this administration, this problem didn't start with this present administration. It's a decade-long challenge. And that will be our next focus when we come back from this break. We must take a break now. But also, it's important to remind us all that when we return, this conversation continues on our other platforms. Please stay with us, everyone.
Every clash of ideas begins the same way. Differences could be a disagreement,
two voices, two views, standing apart,
or an argument.
a battle to win, to prove, or to conquer.
Both are born from differences. One can open the door to respect,
Sound, are you ready?
and the other close it with fire. Two perspectives, but one big issue.
Are you good?
Yes, I'm good to go. So do we argue to fight or disagree to understand?
3, 2, 1, we are live.
This is the big...
Thank you for staying with us, everyone. This is Politics Tonight, and tonight we're discussing local government autonomy. President Tinubu orders governors to obey Supreme Court judgment. If the Supreme Court has spoken, why are many governors still dragging their feet? And Nigerians say this is an open defiance of the law. My guest tonight is Paul Ikonne, ABC Chief in Abia State, former Executive Secretary, CEO, NALDA. Ms. Ikonne, thank you very much for staying with us on the program. So like I said, I mean, this is not a conversation that started today. And this is also not a challenge that started with this administration, just to be fair on this administration. But from your own perspective as a politician, why have local governments remained the weakest tier for decades?
That's a good question. Like you pointed out, it did not start today. The president was also a victim of his local government councils in Lagos, State suffering the fate of their funds being by the federal government in those days. Now, so the law is there that made the state to legislate over the affairs of the local government. And the time you allow the state to conduct the elections, to have their what is called APSEC, like in Abia State. So meaning they are in control of the local government one way or the other. So I think the lawmakers should look at our laws and find a way to amend it in order to give the local government full autonomy. When you say autonomy, from the conduct of the election to the implementation and receiving of their allocation from the federal level. That is
so you're practically saying the Supreme Court judgment is not enough?
No, the Supreme Court judgment is very clear when it comes to the point of funds going to the local government. I don't think that the Supreme Court judgment was talking about conducting local government elections by INEC. So I don't think so. So if that is the case, the House of Assembly should not be legislating over the local government, because that is where the governors derive their powers. So they can work with the House of Assembly to tweak the laws to suit them in order for them to perpetually have control over local government, which is not to the interest of the state. Because anybody coming to power should come to power for the purposes of serving and providing services to people. So if you really came to power as a governor, your mindset should be, what should I do to better the state more than the way I make it?
And, you know, oftentimes these governors have also said local government autonomy will weaken state control. I mean, I don't know what that means. Do you think you understand what that means?
It also
is that a good concern, a valid concern?
It sounds strange to me, because from my own point of view, or from any other person's point of view, it should strengthen the state. When the federal government faces the federal road and federal projects, the state will face the state road and state project. The local government will face the rural road, community roads, and villages. That reduces burden, and that helps for faster and quicker development.
They love the burden and also love the money that comes to the burden. That's what it looks like.
The unfortunate thing is mindset. Like I did say before, some didn't come to office with the mindset to serve, to develop. Some came to office with a different mindset altogether.
All right, but I mean, another question is, what excuse remains after a clear judgment and a presidential warning?
That is why the president is worried. You can literally see that the president was just like crying. The Supreme Court has given a judgment. Now, again, judgment is one thing, enforcement, which is, I believe that's what the president is doing, to enforce the judgment of the Supreme Court by reminding the governors, by letting them also know that there's what is called executive bills that can also be used. You know, so that is the beauty of democracy. So that's the beauty of democracy, where there's challenges and disagreement and agreement, and the 3 tiers of government must agree to work together for the betterment of the common man. So, but the governors need to understand that the local government autonomy does not remove you from being a governor.
Right.
It makes you a stronger governor.
And you're very hopeful that, these governors, APC governors, to be very specific, would comply with either the presidential warning or the Supreme Court judgment, or both. But if these governors still ignore this order 6 months from now, what verdict should Nigerians pass on this administration? Is it failure of leadership or failure of political courage?
I don't see the APC governors ignoring this. No. The president is respected, and the APC governors sees the president as a courageous president. That means what? For the people of Nigeria. So I don't see them. What I see going forward will be changes for those that have not fully allowed local government autonomy. You will begin to see that. You will begin to see dividends of democracy, especially within the APC state. There are some governors that I know that will not blink an eye. Yes.
Okay, so for those governors who would not blink an eye,
yes,
what verdict should Nigerians pass on this administration on behalf of them? I mean, it means that they do not respect the president. That's what it means.
Okay.
Is it failure of leadership or failure of political courage?
Very good question. Not on this government, but to the state governor.
They are APC governors.
No, to those governors that are not APC, that are not willing and that may not be willing to go to the route of allowing APC, local government autonomy. The people should rise and ask questions within the local government and the states. It is their money, like the president said. It is their right to ask questions. Like in Abia, people are beginning to ask questions. That the audio project that are on social media that you cannot see on ground at the local government levels. So people are beginning to ask questions. So what we look forward to seeing in any state that the governor is not willing to...
Let's use Abia State, for example.
Yes.
So what message do you have for your governor regarding the president's directive?
What? Say that again.
What message do you have for your governor?
Very simple. My message is very straight. Begin to hands off the local government funds. Stop managing local government funds from the village where you live in Mvosi. He doesn't stay in government house anyway. So
I didn't know. Thank you for that information.
Yes. He's running his government from a village where he stays in Isialang.
That's your word against his.
But it's obvious. The president have also touted it and said, go back to government house. But that is not the topic for today.
What's wrong with the government house?
That is a big question that requires answer. Moreover, Abia State has 2 government houses. One, the old one, and the new one. But
so he stays in the new one?
He stays in a village where he lives. He lives in a nearby village that is about 45 miles away. It's about 5-7 kilometers to Umai. Okay. To run the government.
But that's his house. That's his personal house.
Personal house.
You're saying he should be staying in the government house.
Which is one of the things that will make it easier for proper governance. Civil servants will come with their files. They don't come with the file to your personal house. You don't hold council meeting within your personal house.
Is there any law that says it must stay in the government house?
But that is why it's designated called government house, and you take money to run the government house.
But there is no law that states that it must stay there.
That is another research I may have to look into to see why the law says state capital, government house, not personal house. But answering your question, my message is very simple. Allow the state local government to function. If local government function, farmers will begin to produce effectively. Hospitals will begin to work. Schools will be effectively managed and built. Like he claimed that he used over 80 billion to build smart schools in local government, but none anywhere to be seen. But if a local government chairman said, I have built a smart school, I have used this money, the governor should be able to ask question, where is it? But when the governor says, I have built schools worth more than 80 billion naira, and nobody sees that school anywhere, who will ask him questions? So that is why he must hands off, allow the local government to function so that governance will get to the grassroots and development will come to Abia.
Well, there are rumors that the governor is likely to join the APC. Today you've come to us with, you're talking to me about all of these grave allegations without proof. That's one. Second, if the governor joins the APC today, I'm sure all of these allegations will go away.
No. The truth is that what is on ground is on ground. When you have evidence, evidence is the end of argument. So even if he joins APC today, it will be easier for us to amplify. Now go back and get these things done. We are misbehaving where you are not in APC. We will not allow you.
We don't see APC members do more of that.
No.
They try to cover up the misdeeds of their governors.
No, if the APC has that tendencies, the president wouldn't have been at the APC meeting and said, governors implement the Supreme Court ruling.
All right, let's talk about your party. What would you say to Nigerians who feel the APC has become disconnected from the masses and only serves political elite?
I don't know where they got that from. If the APC and our leader is the president, is disconnected from the masses, why would the president be advocating for local government to have their autonomy? So you can't. So that is a total different opinion that you cannot substantiate, because states of APC are implementing projects that are impactful. I repeat again, go to Imo State and see what Governor Hope Uzodinma is doing. Go to anyone who joined us, anybody that is progressive in mind. I was watching here and I saw what Governor Zulum providing transportation, both for Christians and non-Christians, Northerners and non-Northerners, traveling for the festival period. So who could have come up with such mindset that APC is disconnected from the people? If APC is disconnected, why are those people from opposition joining the party? Now, why is the president so passionate about let the grass be watered?
And you know, people like you, I mean, APC politicians, you're so convinced that politicians are defecting today, or politicians who are defecting today are doing so voluntarily. For instance, I read some of your articles where you said they're motivated by their assessment of Nigeria's political future and the performance trajectory of the Tinubu administration. I'm reading these word for word so I don't misquote you. But are there concerns about, you know, within the APC about ideological consistency now that leaders from different parties are joining your party? Because there are those who are strongly convinced that the coming together of different ideologies into your party may implode the APC.
I totally disagree. Why? Because we have a leader that is focused, that has a mindset. Now, when that would have happened is if the president, who is the leader of the party, is not firm. It doesn't have a mindset, doesn't have leadership quality and charisma to carry people. Now, APC is like a church or like a mosque or like a family. So when you look at the head of the family, if the head of a family is a drunk, it finds it difficult for the family to be managed. So implosion can happen. If the head of the church is not firm, then you can see breakaways. But if the head of a church understands his programs and has a vision, direction on where he's heading to, more members, people will leave their churches and join.
So I don't understand, what is the correlation between being firm and the perceived, what's it called now, inconsistent ideologies of political leaders or governors coming into the APC? What's the correlation?
Okay, so first of all, you've asked yourself, those that are coming from where they're coming,
yes,
what ideology are they coming with?
Some say they are coming because they need to survive politically.
Okay, some also say that because they have seen the direction that the president is going, so they need to be part of that positive direction.
Must they join the APC to appreciate the efforts of the current administration?
There is no law that says if you see good thing, don't applaud and don't join. It's very simple. Nobody is coercing anybody to join APC. If I know you've been around and you can recall how APC started. APC, it was a party built based on negotiation, understanding, merger, and ideology. What is the ideology? To rescue Nigeria from the dwindling lack of vision and focus that the PDP government was driving it to. Today, progressive minds are coming together to make sure that we have a party that stands the test of time with one goal, to achieve dividends of democracy starting from the grassroots to the state.
Your party meets the numbers, I know, but because as of December 21, 2025, there are 28 states with APC governors, 4 states with PDP governors, 1 state each with Accord, AGA, Labour, and NNPP. And your party is definitely enjoying the benefit of this high-profile defections. But how do you respond to accusations that the APC is using federal might or pressure to attract these governors?
When like you said, there's rumors that the man in Abia, Alex Oti, wants to join APC. Is he being coaxed? So if he's running around, clear indication, some of them wants to go back to the office. So they see that APC is taking control. In Abia today, the PDP structure, 95% of PDP structure have collapsed into APC. So why wouldn't the governor start running from pillar to post? Because he knows that nobody, the APC has the population to vote and win election. So if he is running around to join APC, because he knows that if election is conducted today, he will fail and fail woefully. APC will take the day. So if the same thing is the case in other states, so who then will you blame?
Also, my question is, can democracy stay strong if its players keep changing sides?
Okay, so if they are changing seats to align with what will make Nigeria work, wouldn't that be better than being stagnant and everybody being in different rooms and fighting? And the grass, like they say, when two elephants fight, the grass suffers it. So if all the players are coming together for one purpose, to have a working Nigeria, Nigeria that is developing, Nigeria that is progressing, and building a sustainable system for us to strive, where education, power, infrastructures are in place. Which one will be better? Is it to stay in different parties and fight, or to come together to build our nation?
All right. I mean, tonight's conversation is about the president reminding APC governors and all the 36 state governors of why they must allow local governments to thrive. But also, what role does, or do you think, party loyalists and grassroots members play or should play in defending the mandates of this administration?
Asking questions, standing by the truth, revealing what the president have done. Now, so do you know that it was a removal of subsidy which came as a result of courage? Don't forget, all the presidential candidates said they were going to do that, but how many of them would have been willing to do it? And that removal of subsidy has put so much money into the hands of governors and local government. Abia received over 30 billion monthly, unlike before, from allocation, federal allocation. So as a result of the subsidy removal. So the APC faithfuls should begin to ask questions and let people know what the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done in their state, especially by making sure that the funds that are accrued to each state gets to the state. The ones accrued to each local government gets to the local government. And now he's trying to push, and he's pushing to see that the local government gets their funding. Tell me the picture you will see of Nigeria if all the local governments begin to develop their local government, have access to their funds, and the governors are questioning them. So they will be afraid that governor will come and check what I'm doing. So I have to do the right thing. But when the governor covers and nobody questions or queries him, what happens? The system remains that way, and the blame comes back to the top. People will no longer remember that they have local government. They won't remember that they have state government. They will say the president.
All right. We'll come back to that if time permits us. Let's talk about food security, and this is basically because of your former office, your former CEO, National Agricultural Land Development Authority. Nigeria continues to struggle with food security, despite years of agricultural policies. What exactly is the challenge? Where is the challenge? Where does it lie?
Again, that goes back to local government. Shift from focus. Now, sensitization, education starts from the house. If the local government, in those days, my local government, the Abia local government, used to have tractors. Abia is an agrarian area. They used to have tractors, and I believe other local governments used to. So if local government takes up agriculture as a project and begin to drive it from that, people who are dwelling on social media and doing skating and those who are supposed to be in the farm would shift their attention. So the local government autonomy is very key to a whole lot of things, most especially agriculture. If you don't eat, if you don't have good food to eat, you won't be able to do any other thing. So the infrastructure that we need to drive food security in agriculture shouldn't be, the dependence shouldn't be on the federal government. That is why we have been failing. Because everybody has been dependent on the federal government to drive agriculture. What is the Ministry of Agriculture doing? Nobody remembers that there is Commissioner for Agriculture. Nobody remembers that there is local government. Again, you cannot talk of agriculture without talking about land. And the land, rural land, are under the control of the local government, not the state. But out of ignorance, people ignore that because the governors have taken control of the local government. So the local government, themselves, do not know that they are in control of land. So as local government chairman, you map out agricultural land and begin to encourage farmers, I bet you Nigeria will be exporting more than they're exporting now.
But how do we break this barrier?
Breaking the barrier is allowing local government to be autonomous and begin to drive policies that will drive agricultural development to achieve food security. I just pointed something that may sound strange, but that is the truth. Everybody is looking at the president. What is the federal government doing in agriculture? Nobody is asking what is the commissioner for agriculture is doing in the state. What is the local government doing? And this agriculture we are talking about happens at the local government level. So if we want to get our agricultural system right, we must get the local government right and get the local government chairman. In those days, you have a supervisor for agriculture who distributes seeds and input to the rural person because they know them in their communities, in their units, in their wards. They know those that will get the input. But if they come to the national and get the input, some will sell it up here. But if it's coming from the local government, the councillors will supervise it. They know those that are getting it. So for us to achieve food security, I believe that we should start from the local government system.
All right. But the authority, I'm talking about NALDA now, was created to develop agricultural land and boost production. In your view and from your experience as former CEO, how effective has land development been in increasing crop yields and also reducing dependence on imports?
NALDA did a lot. It was created during the military president Babangida 1992, and they had a lot of infrastructure, but was abandoned during the era of PDP. Okay, so and came back to life during the tenure of APC. Okay, in 2020 and
2020. That's about okay.
Yes. So when we were in the office, within that 4 years, we had infrastructure across Nigeria. We were building. Those land that were acquired when NALDA was created, a lot of encroachment. So during our time in the office, people now started having courage to again redonate those land, and then new land we acquire and infrastructures are built. The president, before I left office, had approved the greenhouse project for us to begin to produce vegetables such as tomatoes, carrot, pepper, and the president had approved such project, and I believe they're still working on that. So NALDA has a great role to play in driving food security. First of all, land acquisition. I must say this to you, our Land Use Act requires rejigging because it's an issue.
Too many bottlenecks?
Yes. Now, the complications in that Land Use Act, people read it that it invested powers to the governor.
Okay.
Now, so before you can acquire land for anything, you have to go through the governor.
Okay.
But that is not truly the case. The land that, according to the Land Use Act, invested the hands of the governor is the urban land, those that have been marked and gazetted. But the rural lands is under the control of the local government. But because the local government chairman does not know, and there is no local government existing, everybody runs to the governor for allocation of land that has not been acquired by the state government. So to achieve agriculture, local government plays a great role.
But is that the, I do apologize, is that the only bottleneck, or there are other bottlenecks in land acquisition, also development and usage for farming?
Major key challenge for land acquisition is the Land Use Act.
Okay.
Now, when the land is tenured and the governor gives you C of O, because people want to get C of O, when you get C of O, you are now under the mercy of that governor that may wake up tomorrow and revoke it. So if you have put agricultural infrastructure like irrigation system, soil treatment, and soil nurturing, and then somebody comes, another governor that doesn't like your faith comes and revokes the land, you would have lost all that. So it's a major challenge.
It has to be amended?
Yes, I believe that the Nigerian Land Use Act must, if we must drive our agriculture. In some countries, they do land lease. And so with that land lease, farmers can invest. But here, with the current Land Use Act that we have, investment in agriculture is very slim. That is why everybody is relying, in my belief, on the federal government to do something when everyone ought to do something on their own in order for us to achieve food security. All
right. And like I said, we've had so many agricultural policies in the past, but the intention is always good, but implementation is always the challenge. Execution especially is always a challenge. From your experience, what structural reforms are necessary to ensure policy success?
Good. Thank you for asking. That brings us back to our topic tonight, local government autonomy. If you stay in Abuja as the Minister of Agriculture or as the ES of NALDA or any other agency of federal government, and you give out inputs, farm support to farmers whom you don't know, who monitors it? You say you have offices in all the states, and the coordinators are not able to coordinate all, because your coordinators in each state may not be able to go around the state. So if our local government system is functional, like the NALDA Act, the way it's designed that NALDA can partner with local government authority and communities. So if you are partnering with local government, you know that that local government knows the councillor knows the beneficiary in his ward. So with such approach, we'll be able to hold somebody accountable. But when you drop it from up there, some may not use it the way. That's why we've not been seeing much result. So I sincerely believe that getting the local government to become effective and productive will help Nigeria develop rapidly.
And that's why Mr. President is insisting that these governors must comply with the Supreme Court's judgment or face enforcement.
He's been a governor. He knows where it pains Nigeria. He knows that local government is the foundation for any development.
I mean, this is not rocket science.
No, not at all. You don't need to go to school to know this.
I mean, we'll continue to follow these developments on this very critical issue. Thank you so much for joining us on the program tonight. Paul Ikonne, APC chieftain, Abia State, former ESCO NALDA. Thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to more conversations with you.
Thank you for
Thank you very
me.
much, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you very much.